This seems appropriate that both you and Willem Dafoe are here, in the sense that I think you're both actors that seem to navigate both Hollywood and big studio films and sort of the art house world here in Europe. What do you think the pros and cons of that? And do you think it sort of keeps you fresh, being able to be in both worlds?
I think we're super privileged, right? I mean, it's just we get offered things from different places. People see us with different eyes. So he goes from insane characters that are grotesquely evil, insane, into the sweetest Van Gogh. So people see him with different eyes, and I like to believe that people see me with different eyes. He comes from a background of extreme experimental theater. I come from the dance world, which is to a degree was that as well. So I think we both have still an appetite of trying very different things, and I can definitely tell that on Willem's work.
I asked the question about the two movies, The Hand and The Rank. Mm-hmm. You have won the best actor in the Cannes Festival, yes. Mm-hmm. And the second movie, the Hand, the best foreign international feature in the Oscar. Mm-hmm. I ask you, what's this special in working with the director Thomas Vinterberg?
What is so special? It's so hard to say what is special. I mean, yes. We have a lot in common, me and Thomas. He's one of the few directors I see privately. He's a lovely, lovely man, and he's very on top of what he wants. He's not a little nerd that is like, that we have to drag it out. It's very communicative.
Yes.
And he's just making stories about simple things in life that becomes very recognizable and human. Yeah. I just love the way he works. He feels super comfortable to be around him and work with him.
Mm-hmm. But you spoke about the roles that you do in America, and that they've kind of, the bad guy, they've stuck on you because of your accent.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about that. Like, is it just the accent?
No, it's not. It's not just the accent. And I've also done things. I did a film called Arctic. I'm just a person who's stuck on the Arctic, right? It was an American film. And I've done a few other ones. I also consider Hannibal to be a very sophisticated, not a baddie, something completely different, fallen angel. So, but the action has something to do with it. But the other thing is that Americans tend to, want more of that they liked. Just have more of that, And fair enough. I mean, if that's what I get offered, I'm fine.
Not dying to play a romantic lead?
I can do that back home, it's fine. Okay. Or in France, yeah.
My question is about women, obviously.
I like them.
So my question is answered. No. What place do women take in your career?
My career?
Yes,
take a huge place. My wife and my daughters, obviously, women, both of them, they take an enormous place in my life, I would say. But so do men. I have a son as well. I look at maybe not so much European films, but going back to Hollywood, I look at that and I see so many fantastic women of their generation just having a gap of 30 years. It's like, so now it's over, and then you can do it again when you're 80. It's like, and it's so weird to watch because even when female directors picks it up, they tend to do films about men. And it's like, why don't you make some films with these amazing actors, right? So we don't have to have women going in and doing like masculine characters, but they can still be feminine in their 40s and 50s and 60s, right? That puzzles me every time because there is so much talent out there just sitting like this. What is going on? Yeah.
So earlier today, when you were discussing your audition for Pusher, you said that Mikkelsen, the director of the movie, decided to give you the role of Tony, even though he didn't understand what you were saying.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you think it's okay and it's ethical for actors, professional or not, to audition and take roles they're not fully captivated by or interested in? Same goes for directors.
If they're not interested in it, I don't know how I can measure that. I mean, I can ask them and they can lie. I'm super interested, but I'm not. I think your question is more, is it okay to take Is it like sexuality, play a gay person if you're not gay? Is that your question?
No, my question is, you said like when you auditioned for the role, the director didn't really understand the word you were saying, and I quote, this is what you said.
No, yeah, but that the director, yeah, I'm obviously enlarging that. I mean, he understood some of it, right? But it was just a different world for him because I came from that area. That area we were shooting the film, and he was not from there at all. And he was just, what is going on? But he liked the energy, and he was right for the part. And then I did say his lines once in a while. So I'm not sure what the question is, but try again.
So, okay, let me try and rephrase it. So basically, when you go and audition for movies, what do you think the ethical way is for like you to go and like have the right to audition for a certain role, or for the director to actually take someone or take someone
from the real life?
Yeah.
From real life, like real criminals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that was a ton of real criminals in the film. They were all from the street. There was only two and a half actors in there. Yeah, well, I don't mind that at all. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be around somebody who's double murder. It's just for the authenticity of a film, I think it's fantastic sometimes. But they can also be obviously lose the energy of a driven film with a story. Then it just becomes a documentary. It has to be a balance. But I've seen people just coming out of blue from the street. It's very difficult to play yourself. It's not easy, you know. Some can do it. A lot of these criminals could not at all, because they stiffened up and didn't know what to do. But some were because they are liars in their own lives, like we are professional liars in our job. They lie constantly. If you have to survive in jail, they constantly put on a character, right? So some are really good at that, and they can actually just transform it and do what the director wants with it, right? So I'm in favor of that, unless I meet somebody who's just a psychopath I don't want to be around.
Got my answer.
All right. Go.
Yes.
You have to.
Mesmerized.
I was thinking about after Indiana Jones, you changed for a total different film. If it's important for you as an actor
To go from one thing to another thing? Yeah, it's nice.
to have this kind of balance.
It's super nice to be able to do it. It's not always we have the chance, but it's nice when you can do it. But I don't think in terms of like one here and then I have to do one here. I don't think like that. I kind of go where the most interesting offer is. But more and more so, it's become important to me to do Danish films as well, or European films, because it's my home, it's my language, it's my stories, and I see the necessity for me to come home and do it with my friends, and maybe we can go a little further with certain things that I wouldn't do with someone I didn't know.
Okay.
Your brilliant performance in The Hand has something difficult to describe, and I think it has to do with the balance between the moment of contained emotions and the intense emotion. How did you manage to switch between those two tones?
It was quite a frustrating thing to do as an actor because he was isolated so quickly in the film. So I didn't have a lot of people around. I didn't have a lot of scenes with people. I was just kind of like always kept out. They were my friends, so I would still hang around with them. But sometimes I would isolate on purpose because it was good for the scene. And it was a frustrating read, and it's also a frustrating film to watch because he's a man who do believe that justice will be served. He didn't do anything, and so he takes it the mild way. And he firmly believes that they are going to see in a second that this is not happening. And then it just goes too far. And then he can't get out of it. And the doors are shutting. And so he does react. He does go to his friend. He does all these things. And people say, why doesn't he react? But he does all these things. But he's just meeting something very uncivilized. And then in a civilized world. Yeah.
Do you still... are you still involved in dance in any way?
Not at all.
Not at all. What is it about Gothenburg and people making it in the film world? There's yourself.
Are there a lot of Gothenburg people?
There's Alicia Vikander, right?
She's from Gothenburg. I didn't know
Well,
that. I
she
thought
studied.
Maybe she did.
She studied.
Yeah.
There's some secret.
Yeah, I was there for a year. Then I dropped out and went and danced. I didn't want to go to school for that long. I just wanted to dance. So I went straight into a ballet group and started working. I was not the youngest either, so I had to hurry up a little.
What age were you then?
Did I start dancing? I was probably 20.
Okay, you really
Yeah.
had to work hard.
Yeah, I had a background as a gymnast, so there were certain things I could do, a lot of things I couldn't. So I had to pick up on that, right? And but I learned more by doing it, and I went to Mother Graham, and I did a lot of training as well on the site. But I was in a dance troupe.
Is it more challenging to do dance or to get that fast in dance as opposed
I would.
to doing...
It went fast for me in dancing, and it did in acting as well, I guess. But it was challenging because I've never seen theater before. I've never been in a theater. I've never seen anything. And all of a sudden I was on a stage and everything was just so magical and crazy. And I loved being physical, so that was a fantastic combination for me. Then I fell more in love with the drama of dancing eventually. And I took the step into full drama. I wasn't too much in love with the aesthetics of dancing.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't find it super interesting to do a pirouette.
Right.
I didn't understand what that was telling me. What are you saying? There were other contemporary things that was much more energetic that I fell in love with. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
One of the I attended your Cannes masterclass.
Did I have a masterclass?
Yeah. and one of the things that I watch a lot of your interviews, kind of stalk you a bit, and
You're the one.
yeah. So one of the things that I've never, with a lot of actors, they're able to express their process, right? And because you're such a dazzling actor in whatever you do, I haven't. What is your process?
It varies a lot. A process varies a lot, and it does for most actors. I know there are certain techniques, let's say the Stanislavski technique, that some people would just stick to that, and it works for them every time. I don't have that technique. We didn't get that taught in school. We just got a lot of different teachers that said different things, and when we were done after 4 years, we had no idea what to do. Right? And then so we learned by doing. Right? I think one of my approaches is the script. Understand what this story is. How can we make it stronger, more brutal, or whatever it takes. I come up with ideas. I talk with the director, and then I start throwing things away from myself, me. I believe we all have all emotions. Everybody has all emotions. They might be so small or so big, depending on our personalities, but we recognize them to a degree. So I'll have to find the couple of things that is characteristic for this character, identify them in me, make them much bigger in me, and then throw out some of my own things. So it gradually becomes something that, well, it is me, but it's not me as a character, right?
Right. And after you one of the things I found fascinating was you said once you're done with your shoot and you just go back to your life and you don't carry the role, right?
No, I don't. I carry the work day like everybody else. It was a good day, great. It was a bad day, and then you can also spend a lot of time in a certain emotion for a certain character. That I can carry for a while, but not the character. I do not insist on my kids calling me a different name. It's not going to happen.
No?
Of course. I think it's wrong. I think you can find actors who do that, and they are very good, and some of them are very terrible bad. So it's not that is not the magic thing.
Right.
And you can find people who does it completely different, and they're very good or very bad. So the technique is not the important, but it tends to be very impressive, especially for journalists, when they hear, so he lived on a mountain for 2 years, he didn't talk to his kids, he's so dedicated. Yeah, but what if he's a shit actor? But it tends to give you awards to say that crap. But you can be as dedicated with other ways of doing it.
The skill you seem to have is definitely creating empathy with characters that ostensibly aren't that likable, and really humanizing them, or very much exploring perhaps these kind of like real alpha males, and showing their vulnerability, whether that's in Another Round or your recent film Promised Land. Or, why do you think that might be important? Because I guess when no character is black or white.
Because humans are not black and white, right? Because we do not, obviously the world is getting a little, you're with us or against us constantly, right? But in the middle, there is a discussion to have about whatever subject you want. There is a discussion in the middle that is a sensible discussion, but no of the sides, doesn't matter what the subject is. wants that. They just want this or this, right? And life is not really like that. We are full of gray zones and different perspectives, and we change our minds, but also just because it's more interesting to watch. I mean, one of the reasons why I loved Taxi Driver so much was that he's not a likable character, but there's something about him that De Niro does. He makes me, if not feel sympathy, at least go on a journey with him. And I'm curious enough to go on that journey because he's defending him so much, right? And I think it's a much better way of telling stories that are human and not just political statements. Yeah.
Martin Scorsese said that a cinema art form that brings you the unexpected. And in superhero, nothing is at risk. And John who joined this idea as point of view. Have you the same point of view or another?
No, I mean, it's a fine way to say it. I mean, maybe I can say it in many other ways. I mean,
yes.
I don't necessarily think that there are only one type of films that is important. I do enjoy, and as a kid, I enjoyed watching superhero films or Indiana Jones, and I also enjoyed Scorsese. So they're two different kind of worlds. But I don't think the one excludes the other.
Yes.
But you have to understand the genre and the hat you're wearing as an actor to figure out that, okay, I'm in a Bond film. That means, actually, Daniel Craig and me, we had a scene, a torture scene, and we had so many ideas. And we were like, because we came straight from this rock and roll filming.
Yes.
And the director let us go for 5 minutes, and he said, boys, come back. It's a Bond film, right? So, and he was right. We have to understand the universe we're in.
Yes.
And in that universe, we have to be honest with what we have. Yes. Same if you do a magician in Doctor Strange. Got to find the honesty in that. But you can't just come in and say, this sucks, nobody can do magic. It's like, no, I get it. But so we have to understand it when it's a kitchen sink drama as well. That's a different universe.
Did you get to watch some Moroccan movies?
I haven't seen anything yet. No. I've been doing this and this and a little casino.
But before, I mean, in general, do you know some Moroccan?
I've not seen a lot of Moroccan films. I know there's 2 at the festival now. So that sounds like it's on a healthy route right now.
It's true.
And it is. But I've met a lot of film workers today. I don't know how many who are Moroccans or how many who are French, but there seems to be a very healthy industry going on right now, and a lot of young people coming in.
The two have won 2 important prizes in Cannes.
They did?
Yes.
Yeah, since I forgot.
Here you go.
Just to say last question, please, guys.
Talking about political statements,
Yep.
what do you think about the situation in the Middle East?
Not today.
Yes.
Maybe it's the last. Does a villain for you need a special preparation?
Does it what, sir?
A villain, to play a villain.
A special preparation.
Yeah.
They all need special preparations. I don't think there's a difference. As I said before, we need to find the flaws in the heroes, so they become human. We need to find maybe a couple of places where the baddie has a point and he becomes human as well. Okay. If not, we're just watching cartoons, right? Yeah. And sometimes it's fair enough with a cartoon. I get it. But the more we can give them a little humanity, the more we actually enjoy the battle there is here. And we can get a little in doubt as well. It's like, oh, what's going on here, right? I think that's just more interesting to watch.
Yeah. One last question.
Go
Please. They say that there is 2 ways to write a good character. To write about a human being normal in extraordinary situation,
yes,
or the inverse.
I agree.
Feel that you are most close to that first option, okay. Ordinary human being.
Yes, I mean there are definitely a lot of films I've been like you can say Thomas Vinterberg is a case of an ordinary man in the hunt who's been placed in a very unusual situation. I love that, but I've played many unusual characters who are creating their own drama, their own problems. Especially some of the dark comedies I've played. It's like, what is going on? I mean, why is he behaving like this? And that's also super interesting. But it's true. If we have unusual characters in unusual situations, we tend not to recognize it. Yeah. Or we have like normal people in normal situations. It's like, what are we watching here? So drama is something that changes it. It can be the character, or it can come from outside. Yeah.
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
everyone. This song, What a Life,
Yes.
right? You didn't want it, right? You had
No,
this-
that
this-
song I loved.
No, the dance and you
the
said,
dance,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's now become your anthem, right?
Yeah, it is become my anthem,
Everywhere
yeah.
it plays.
And it's such a beautiful circle because it turned out that that young man who's singing the song, I drove him home at least 3 times super drunk because he was a friend of my daughter's when he was young. So he was in, I didn't know it was him, but he went and made the song about alcohol, and I remember him in that circle. Yeah.